You probably have heard about live streaming. If you haven't, you will soon. But you may wonder exactly what live streaming is, and should you even care about it? Should you be doing it? So we're going to talk a little bit about that this evening. 2015 has been called the year of live streaming. There was a wider adoption of existing platforms, and new live streaming platforms came on the scene. 2016 is going to expand that even further. There's still new live streaming platforms, and people are becoming more comfortable with the whole idea of live streaming. Now, there is some resistance because some people will say that video is technical and it's hard. Most people don't really want to appear on camera. That's a common fear. And a new one that I just heard recently is that they're afraid that the app will actually control the camera instead of letting them control it. There's lots of benefits to live streaming. Don't overlook that. Live streaming lets you connect immediately to your audience. They see you, they hear your voice. It builds trust in the relationship in a way that's impossible to do any other way except in person. The new live streaming platforms that came out last year are Meerkat, Periscope, Facebook Mentions, which is now called Facebook Live, and Blab. All of these platforms are in beta, so that means things are changing. So even the things that I tell you now may not be the same way next week. The first new platform that came out was Meerkat, and it came out in March. It's strictly for mobile devices, so you're limited to one presenter unless you have two people together and you want to pass your phone back and forth or whatever. They do make microphones that let you plug in so you can have two lapel mics out of one mobile device, which is handy if you're going to do that. It links with Twitter, and you can store the recordings on catch.me. That's KATCH.ME, because Meerkat doesn't store the recordings at all. Periscope's another new one. Once again, it works on mobile devices, so you're limited to the one presenter or the two sharing a device. It's owned by Twitter, so you know that it works with Twitter very well. You have a lot of audience interaction through comments and hearts. Hearts is simply when a viewer taps the screen, a string of hearts displays across the screen, and that shows your approval for the presenter and the content. A replay will last on Periscope for 24 hours. That way your audience can view it for 24 hours. However, you can record on Catch so that you're able to actually get the recording and have it be up there longer. Facebook Mentions, which is now Facebook Live, started out only for celebrities, but now they've started rolling it out to other users. They're doing a very controlled rollout, which is very good, because that way they can, they're not overloading their servers, they're not overloading support, but because they do have such a huge user base, by rolling out to 5,000 people at a time, it's going to take a long time to roll out to everybody. Google Hangouts On Air has been around for several years. It's the oldest of the platforms. It can have up to 10 participants on the screen at a time. It automatically streams to YouTube and Google+, which is a nice feature. It also starts recording automatically, so you don't have to remember to hit the record button. You do need a desktop computer to start it. Mobile devices can participate just fine, but it has to be started from a desktop device. Inviting folks into the panel to be on screen can be a little tricky because they have a different link than the viewers do. So you want to make sure you understand which link does what. You have limited audience participation because the audience can comment in several different locations. They can comment on the Google Plus Live page. They can comment on the YouTube Watch page. They can comment on any place that you've got it embedded that will allow comments, such as Facebook or your own website. So if you're doing a presentation, it's really hard to track all the comments. The best thing you can do is to tell people where they're to comment. Now, they won't all do that, but at least it gives you a chance to respond to most of the comments. Blab.im is another new platform. It works with desktop computers running the Chrome browser. It does well on Firefox too. With any of these, whether you're using Hangouts or Blab, if you're having trouble with one not working right, switch browsers and see if that doesn't solve the problem. For Blab, there is an iPhone and iPad app. Android and Windows can use it on mobile devices, but you need to use the Chrome browser. It connects with Twitter and it connects with Facebook. You can upload your recordings to YouTube. You can embed them on other websites. The host controls the recording and where they are. Now, the host controls the recording, so that means the host has to remember to hit record. With a Blab, you can have 4 participants at a time. That's what the Blab team has decided is the maximum number of people who can actually have a reasonable conversation at the same time. It's great for audience interaction. The audiences can comment, and they can easily become a participant. It's as simple as clicking a button to ask to be let on screen, and the host controls who comes on screen. Blab will host the replays. Right now, I think they're doing it indefinitely. They say they guarantee it for 3 months. The host will receive an email that contains a link to the MP4 file, the MP3 file, and the replay. So if you want to give your audience a audio file, you can certainly do that. So with all these choices, it comes down to which platform should you use. Well, first you want to consider where is your audience. If you already have an audience who's using one of these platforms and is comfortable with it, then that's probably where you want to be. Now, you probably have an audience on Facebook, and if you have Facebook Live, that's probably where you want to be, but if you don't, then you may want to move them to one of the other platforms. If they're not on a platform that you want to use, then you need to bring them over, and you need to do some education to get them familiar with the platform. You also want to consider what type of event you want to hold. Each platform is good for specific types of events. If you're doing a live or a local event, then Meerkat and Periscope are the ones that really shine for that. And that's like if you want to, say you want to take your audience on a tour of a local attraction. If you want to let them have a glimpse into your life. If you have like a brick and mortar business and you want to give them behind the scenes look, then these platforms work well. I've seen real estate agents actually do house showings using both Meerkat and Periscope. If you want to do an interview, then you're better off to use Google Hangouts On Air or Blab. That way you don't have to be in the same location. You can have multiple people on the screen from different locations. And one thing you can do with both of these is you can do an interview with the 2 people on screen if it's you and another person you're interviewing, or if you're interviewing two other people. But then at the after the formal interview, you can let other people come in and ask questions and participate in the discussion. If you're holding a discussion, once again, Google Hangouts on Air and Blab are really the best format for this, because they are so interactive and you do get people. It's almost like having coffee with somebody. Either one of these platforms, because you're seeing them on screen, you're hearing them. So these really shine for discussion type. Now I know that people still have a resistance to live streaming because you need to be on camera. And I've put together a short report for you that gives you a few simple tips to help you improve your videos. You can find that at authorstools.com/video tips. I would love to hear from you if these tips actually help you, if you actually start doing live streaming. If you get on some of these platforms, let me know. I would love to see what you're doing, especially if you're doing a Blab or a Hangout. I'd love to take part and support you. So you can reach me at lynn@authorstools.com. And I would really encourage you to get on this bandwagon while it's still new, because it's easy to stand out because not that many people are doing it. If you'd like a little extra hand-holding and getting started at this, I've set up a 30-day video challenge. This consists of 30 lessons, one each day, with daily action steps to help you get used to video, learn how to do video with small steps at a time, so it's not overwhelming. You can find more information on that at authorstools.com/video challenge. I really hope that you start doing videos and take advantage of this wonderful live stream technology that hasn't been available very long. The technology wasn't there. So get started and then let me know what you're doing.